everybody, welcome back. Tim here, Gamma Vidi. Time for another installment of this fantastic video series here. Been a long time coming here, but finally found a nice day to where it's not too windy, not too cold to test out this Overland Vehicle Systems Nomadic 270 awning. This is the big one here. So a lot of things I want to get into, show you what makes this one a little different from some of the other ones out there. So quite a few things. Let's just jump right into it. I always like to start up top. They give you three really beefy brackets that allow you to run it a couple different ways. You can flip this to where it gets a little lower. You could also put the bracket on top of the rack, or below it. In back, I use some of the supplied U-bolts. They give you 6 of those, so I put them right around the round bar here. On some of the other plates, I put them on the bottom of the rack plates. I just use my same spacer washer that we use for some of our rack receivers and other products there. So you could mount those brackets on top or on bottom of the rack, nice and sturdy, and once it's on there, it should be good to go. As for the bag here, you know, the material is nice and strong, as good as most of them here. Right out of the box, this ripped, and I don't know if that's going to be typical, but I'm sure I could fix that if I wanted to. Just something to point out. I also broke this zipper almost immediately, so I'm now down to 1 zipper. It used to have 2, so a little disappointed in the bag there, but just something that I wanted to point out. Maybe yours is going to be better if you get one of these. We'll set this up. What makes this a little different is there's actually 2 different hinges, one in the back, one in the front. So it's going to go 180 front, 270 in back. It's going to give us a nice wide coverage area of shade. So I'll show you how this thing sets up here in just a second. Not too bad. It took me about 3.5 minutes to set up. I messed up once. I had the tension on the back side, and then that didn't allow me to deploy the front side, so I had to go loosen that, then deal with that, and then I had to go back and tighten that. But the 2 swing outs, it takes twice as long. Certainly takes longer than a Batwing, 100%. If anyone tells you different, they're lying to you. Also, you notice there's 3 things that fell out of there. One was some black straps that I used to secure the awning. I'll show you that in a second. Second thing was this stick bag. Doesn't really have a home, so I found a way to just shove it up in there. And then the other thing was this bag of poles. So yes, there are separate poles. There are poles that are attached to some of the arms. Some of the arms you have to do separate. But what does make this awning unique is that it can actually run with no arms. So you can see I just have the strings hanging down. Let's take a closer look at that. So not too many surprises. 2 hinges, set of hinges in the back, set of hinges in front, so it folds both ways. The back gives you the full 270. And as you can see, I'm not running poles. And you can see the breeze, a little breeze going on here. So kind of cool, definitely better than some of the others. Of course, here's the label that tells you only allow it to be self-supported while you're setting it up or taking it down, and always lower the supporting legs. So you'll see a lot of people say you don't need to use the legs. Okay, they say you do. So maybe that'll be a warranty issue for you later if you don't like to listen. Undo the straps. Here's one of those straps. So it hooks to the awning, and then you just find somewhere on your rack, you know, a tower, a gusset, a plate, you know, whatever. In the front, same kind of story. Just hook that to the rack. You want these to be nice and flat, right? You don't want to pull down on that arm, especially if you're not running the legs. But that's what those look like. Of course, the rope, it's got this little kind of flappy thing here, so I just literally tied that to the bumper I ran a couple guy lines out, one by my tripod there, another one there, and another one there. And on the back here, this is one of my favorite moves. I just tied off to the spare tire here. You know, anything rigid, you could tie to a slider. It doesn't have to be into the ground if it's easier to go right to the truck. You just want to have some downward force on those guy lines. But that said, this thing is up and yeah, it's pretty solid. Here's a nice look at that front hinge. This top one is going to go a full 180. This bottom one's just going the 90 to go outside. And then the back hinge, you've got double that essentially. What I don't love is that the full 270 extensions on top, and then this one here comes out because my hatch hits this. Now, I've got the FJ60 patented adjustable lifter here, so I can lower my hatch a little bit so it doesn't smack into that, but that would be a consideration if you've got one of those big wings like on a 200 series. Oh, certainly a 4Runner, you're gonna have an issue here. It's gonna bump it in, so it's gonna mean you're gonna have to raise that awning up a lot to deal with that clearance issue there. But that said, this thing is pretty stout. So that's what that looks like deployed. I came out here a few weeks ago and tried to do the same video, but it was just too windy, you couldn't hear. So I shut her down, I didn't bother editing that one, but I have some footage of what this looks like in the wind with no legs and so forth, so I'm gonna splice that in. I also brought the drone out, so let's see what kind of trouble I can get into today with the wind. You can see the dust coming down. So there you go. Hopefully that was fun to watch. Go ahead and take it down. Should only take a couple minutes, right? So yeah, time me. See what happens. Okay, so that was exactly 7 minutes for me to get it to this condition here. I'm still not done. 3 things though that really jump out I want to point out before I forget. One is you'll see I was tripping over these little strings, and I pre-tied these strings to the awning. The reason for that is the bag they give you is just too small to hold all of those strings. So it kind of forces me to use the string, which is a good thing, but it also allows me to actually use the bag. Otherwise, there was no way I was going to cram all those strings in there. The second thing is these straps are huge, and I guess I'm supposed to just wad these up somehow in a pile, and I managed to stick them up in there and get the thing zipped. But boy, you know, I hate to always say the Rhino does it this way, but on the Rhino, those things are just attached to the awning and it just clips to the rack, comes right off the rack, no fuss, no muss. Here, I got another thing to deal with. And then of course the third is these pole bag I'm gonna get it in there and I'm gonna zip it closed. But I tell you, having this material here from both directions, I don't know if you can see that, I barely got these straps tight. At this moment, I have no confidence I'm gonna get that zipper, so I'm gonna have to massage this for a little bit. I guess in practice, I'll get better at that. Maybe there's a trick. But you know what, it's windy, I wanna go, and here I am kind of futzing with this awning. So hopefully this is a nice realistic preview for you. All right, back to it. Okay, so another 2 minutes. I got it all in there, so we're up to 9 for the fans at home counting on what it takes from hey, let's go to actually driving away. 9 minutes minimum, I'd say. Maybe 8 if you get real good at it. So anyway, I hope that was kind of useful to you. That bag is tight. I did get it in there. I found it was a little easier if I rolled that material kind of up over onto the top of some of those arms and really making sure that those arms were laying on top of each other, not kind of off to one side. You kind of get a feel of it. There's 6 of them in there, so there's a lot going on to get crammed into that bag. So anyway, we got her all zipped up. So I hope that was useful to you. A little bit of fun. Now you know what you're going to get into if you do want to get into the investment of one of these Overland Vehicle System 270 Nomadic awnings. It is a nice product once it's set up. I mean, it's top shelf quality. To me, takes a little while to get it going and a little bit longer to get it put away. I don't know if that's a deal breaker to you. There's a couple other issues that I don't love about it, but I'm gonna do another video, kind of deeper dive, comparing this one with the Batwing, showing you some of those smaller little details and nuances there. So we'll jump into it there, but yeah, there you go, that's the product. Let me know your questions. Let me know what else you wanna see. And as always, I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.